I was on a solo road trip, driving through the back roads to avoid the main highway traffic. It was the middle of the night, and fatigue was setting in. My eyes were heavy, and my GPS had lost signal hours ago. That's when I spotted it. A rundown rest stop, barely visible in the dark except for a dimly glowing open sign hanging crookedly over the entrance. I hesitated. It looked like it had been abandoned for years, but my eyelids were threatening to close. I just needed 10 minutes to rest my eyes, splash some water on my face, and I'd be back on my way. I pulled in and parked beside the only other vehicle in the lot, a filthy, old van with darkened windows and a thick layer of dust. The air around it was thick, like the van was absorbing all the light around it. I shook off the weird feeling creeping up my spine. I just needed a break. The inside of the rest stop was no better, flickering fluorescent lights, grime-coated walls, and shelves sparsely stocked with outdated snacks. At the counter sat an old woman, her face obscured by a shadow cast from the brim of her sun hat. Her eyes were hidden, but I could feel her watching me. "Welcome," she said in a flat, raspy voice. "10 minutes is all you have." I glanced up, caught off guard by her words, but she was already looking away, eyes glued to an old, staticky TV. I tried to shrug it off, thinking she was just some eccentric old lady, but her voice echoed in my mind. 10 minutes. I grabbed a drink from the fridge and went to the restroom. The sink was covered in rust stains, the mirror cracked in places. As I splashed water on my face, the light flickered, casting eerie shadows. My reflection looked off. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something was wrong. I checked my watch. Only 3 minutes had passed, but it felt longer. When I walked back out, the old woman was gone, and the TV was just blaring static. I could still hear her voice in my head. I stepped outside to find the van's back door open. Inside, I saw a dim glow, like the light of a TV screen playing a show on repeat. Curious and anxious, I edged closer. Inside the van was a small living space, crammed with old photos, maps, and a table with a countdown clock set to 10 minutes. The numbers were ticking down, second by second. The hairs on my neck stood up. It was at 5 minutes and counting. I backed away, my heart racing. But then I heard it, a soft, rhythmic tapping coming from inside. Tap, tap, tap. I turned to leave, but something stopped me. A voice, faint but clear, whispered, "Help me." It was coming from under a pile of blankets in the van. I hesitated, but curiosity got the better of me. I lifted the blankets to find a small television, playing a grainy black and white video of the old woman. She was sitting at the counter, just like she was when I first walked in, but she looked younger. She was smiling, but not at the camera, at me. The timer on the screen hit for minutes, and the van door slammed shut behind me. I jumped up, trying to push it open, but it wouldn't budge. Panic set in as the air grew thick, and the smell of something rotten filled my nose. The TV screen started glitching, showing images of other people, different faces, all trapped, all counting down. 3 minutes. I pounded on the windows, but the van was like a sealed vault. I turned back to the screen, and the old woman was staring directly at me now, her smile twisted and unsettling. "You never really leave," she said, her voice crackling through the static. 2 minutes. The van started to shake, and I heard whispers, countless voices overlapping, all saying the same thing. 10 minutes. I tried my phone, but it was dead. My watch had stopped working. I was trapped in some kind of loop, and the van felt like it was closing in on me. 1 minute. I watched as my own face flashed on the screen, terrified, stuck in the same countdown as everyone else. My own reflection stared back, screaming without sound. The clock ticked closer to 0. 10 seconds. 9, 8. I closed my eyes, bracing for whatever would happen when the timer hit 0. But nothing came. I slowly opened my eyes to find myself standing in front of the rest stop again. The old woman back behind the counter like nothing had changed. I was shaking, sweating, but I was outside. I was free. I glanced at my car, and my blood ran cold. The van was gone, but now my car's back seat was filled with old maps, photos, and that same TV. I approached cautiously, peeking inside. The countdown had reset. 10 minutes. I turned back to the rest stop, but it was boarded up, abandoned, like it had been for years. As I stood there, the car doors clicked locked, and the countdown began again. 10 minutes. And this time, I don't think I'll get out.